After the negative result from the Voice referendum, how can Australians move forward in terms of reconciliation?
Deborah. It is Reconciliation Week, of course, this week.
Yes, it is Reconciliation Week, and the theme is now more than ever. Just last week, I laid to rest with the rest of my family a great woman in our family, of my generation. She was an academic, a powerhouse, such a brilliant thinker. And I thought myself, here it is at last. My generation are now leaving this realm. And we haven't achieved what our ancestors were working towards in their lifetime. The loss of my cousin is deeply felt, but also that realisation that here we are. It's my generation now. And what about my children? Will they still be waiting for the same justice? I don't think I have an answer right now to the question, except that it is going to be in your hands. Here you are, I don't know, are you in year 11, year 10, 11, 12?
Year 10.
Year 10, okay. You are in year 10. You know more about the history of this country than any generation before you. Certainly you know a lot more than I knew about my own people when I was in year 10. It places a great burden on your shoulders. It's never too early to start the conversations with your friends about what reconciliation means to Indigenous and non-Indigenous people, that it is not just a one-way street of opportunity for Indigenous Australians, that it is an opportunity for all Australians to come to terms with our past and to build the kind of future that we want to pass on to our children, one in which we have a deep and abiding connection to this land that we live on, and one in which we finally understand that we belong to this land. It does not belong to us. Reconciliation, I don't know. After October 14, I think it just was so far out of reach. But then I think back to the early 90s and Paul Keating's Redfern Address, where we could almost touch it, where we could almost taste what reconciliation and a true acknowledgement of the history of this country, we could almost sense it. And if you haven't read the Redfern Address, please do. Because I've lived through the years since then and I've seen things change, and I've seen them slowly, at a glacial pace, improve. So I hold on to that one little glimmer of hope that after the Keating years we emerged, we were thrown into the 13 winters of Howard and then we emerged from that. But I don't know. I think until we have Indigenous leadership in this country, we're never really going to see the change, because we're asking the people who inflicted it all on us to make the change, and I don't see it happening.
Sophia, I want to bring you back in if I can. I just want to know what motivated you to ask that question.
Well, during the, actual time of the Voice referendum, before it came out, I was attending a lot of seminars and stuff, and by the way, based on what I had heard at those, I definitely thought that a yes was inevitable. So I was so shocked, especially by the majority no. And I just thought you would be a really great, source of information for me. And yeah, I feel a little, I'm trying to think of the word. It's crushing, honestly. And yeah, I feel lost.
There are a couple of things there. One of the really chilling articles that I read in the aftermath of the referendum result was the correlation between massacre sites in Australia and the no booths. And you can basically put a map of the no booths on top of a map of massacre sites. So nothing has changed there, or very little has changed. And I think what Australia woke up to on the 15th of October was the reality that Indigenous people and basically people of colour in this country, not just Indigenous First Australians, but we woke up to the reality that First Nations people and others who are on the margins live every day. The kind of racism that I face daily in this country, people struggle to believe the kind of racism that I face every day. And yet, I don't know, I was still crushed by the 65%. I just want to go back to something that was said earlier, and it's not exactly on your question, but I want to dispel a myth here. I've never seen America as the benchmark of democracy. I haven't. It's one of those myths. Ask the first people of that continent if they think that America was the benchmark of democracy. Most definitely not. Native American Indians struggle today for recognition. I think we just build up these stories and we just accept them. And we're a country that will accept something as simple and as insidious and as stupid as, if you don't know, vote no.